get the boat?
Yeah, please.
Hi, my name is Peter. I'm 22 years old, and for the past 8 years, I've been living on the road and off the grid with my family, documenting our journey on our YouTube, The Epic Family Road Trip. Today, I'm sharing my adventures on my own channel, The Adventure Guys. My dream is to show you the remote places of the world by land, air, and sea, and to one day buy some land and build a homestead. Today, we've got some on and off rainfall coming in. We pulled this out of the water because it was leaking. Last week I excitedly put it in the water, had the mast on with the sail, and there was some of the rigging on the boat at least with the dagger board in. And mostly everything was good. You know, I was missing the lines, and I thought maybe I'll leave it out in the water and test if she leaks, and if not, I can start sailing. And it turned out that there are some leaks. The one good thing with that is that it's not where I was thinking. Where I plugged the gel coat, it was not leaking. It probably hadn't been leaking through the fiberglass at all there. It was just like what I thought it was, gel coat cracks. It's actually on the gunnel. It's apparently something that's fairly common in old lasers, depending on how they're stored or even what kind of trolley you use. If you use it often, it can bump into this side where the hull meets to the top, because a laser hull is made and then it's fitted to the top deck of the boat. It's a two-piece fitment, and there's an epoxy, a really strong epoxy that they use that goes in the seam and holds it together, and it can last a long time. Obviously this one's at least from 1980, and it hasn't been stored too well and is in great condition, but those side parts are starting to split and allowed it to leak in water. And apparently, according to some videos I've seen, you can get water in there even when you're sailing great. There's only a little bit of a split in that epoxy, and you're actually sailing flat, just water splashing in there. It eventually will fill up your hull, and or if you capsize, it'll fill in there. So mine is quite bad actually, in quite a few sections. I can actually like separate it with my hands, so it's actually not that difficult of a fix. I just need some good epoxy and hardener, and something like a Dremel or a Dremel type tool that might fit on a drill is what I'm looking for. Almost like a disc, a cutoff wheel, what you'd have on a angle grinder. Something really small though, that isn't too thick and destructive, because I don't want to cut the fiberglass, just the epoxy that's in between the fiberglass. And you just basically score along that same seam where it's splitting now. I'll do it in sections on each side of the boat and fill it with a good epoxy once it's clean and dry, and then clamp it, let it cure of course, and then move on to the next section and do it pretty much all the way around the boat. My lines are actually coming in tomorrow, which is awesome. So I ordered a recreational line kit for a basic laser from a marine out of Toronto actually, and they sell all the lines I need in one nice package. So I'll see how that fits on all my stuff. It should fit perfectly. According to them, it will. And even though this boat doesn't work, I happen to have bought another laser, right? When I got all the pieces for this one to make this have everything it needs, I ended up with a whole nother hull, which is actually seaworthy. The guy said he was sailing on it last year. So it should theoretically work. The next morning, I headed out with my mom and dad. We were heading to the border at Sault Ste. Marie, the border to the United States, to import our bikes. But on the way, I've been looking online a whole bunch for a bigger sailboat, something in the 20 to 25 foot range. A full-size, live-in kind of day sailor cruiser, something I can live in and really grow into sailing on an actual keel boat. And I found one that I thought was possible. So upon inspecting the boat, it was easy to see that it's been stored improperly for a couple of years. And I asked the owner, it's been sitting outside for 5 years, apparently with covers on and off as he went. So of course all the lines and rigging were pretty rough. I mean, a lot of it was growing moss, and the boat itself was in pretty rough condition. I mean, the hull looked like it was intact, nothing too serious going on, short of like some minor gel coat fixes that I could do. And I was actually pretty happy with it overall as like a fixer-up, something I could fix up for a while, because it was a good deal. It came with a trailer. It wasn't too expensive, it was only really $1,000, and it was something I was willing to get, work on, and grow into.
What are you thinking?
Water in here, there's water in there. I mean, all the electrical would have to be redone. Every bolt and thing I'd want to tight and there's rust everywhere. Hard to tell, but I'm just looking around for soft spots in the hull and I don't see or feel any. But who knows, eh? Like if hand pressure is good enough to tell. When we were inside, I noticed a really big crack on the inside hull, and the way the mast attached to the top, it almost seemed like that was from stress of the mast on the upper deck of the boat itself. That made it too much of a hassle, like not worth it. It might not even float. The guy didn't know, and it's been on land for 5 years. So we ended up not getting that boat, which I think was a good decision. And we continued on our way to go pick up the bikes. And then my sister, Caroline, announced that she got engaged, and her fiance came up, and you know, we spent 2 days together. To have her actually engaged to be married is crazy. You know, it's amazing once you grow up, stuff just starts happening. Caroline's going to be married soon, which is really, really awesome. So after the experience with the O'Day, I started to look at boats that were actually in the water, in a bay. Someone's selling something that they're recently sailing at least, and it's in use and everything works. But trying to keep the same price range. And I actually found one. Dan and I are heading in for another exciting thing. There's, of all things, another sailboat up for sale. And this is in the area that I actually really want to sail. So before it was on Manitoulin Island, and as you guys saw, that boat was a good deal, you know, for $1,000 to get a trailer and a 25-foot sailboat is a good deal, but I would be spending the next year repairing that thing, and it looked like some serious structural damage to it, so not something I want to get into as my very first boat is like repairing it for that long. I can do minor cosmetic repairs, and I actually would prefer a boat that needs some sort of work done to it so that I can get familiar with the boat as well as really feel like I'm making it my own. And this boat that's here is looking like it's checking all the boxes. It's a CNC 25-footer, which is cool. CNC is a Canadian company, and it's got a good reputation here on the Great Lakes especially, and a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about them. It's got an outboard motor on it and a couple other things that make it really desirable, besides the fact that it looks like an awesome sailboat, and it's definitely something that I'll be able to grow into and get on the big water with and live in. Just like with the other boat, I've got to go talk to the guy, go see what condition it's really in person, but this one's looking like it's more of a guy who actually sails. He's someone who did it for years and used this boat and took good care of it.
It's really well done.
Yeah, it looks...
Got the, so it charges off of the outboard too when you're motoring?
It looked like something I could definitely see myself in and building onto a little bit. Something I can learn everything I need to, at least the basics of sailing, and especially sailing in the Great Lakes here. I think I definitely, it's a boat capable of doing all of the Great Lakes. I can go into the deeper water, into the middle of the lake, and really explore a lot on it and live in it for a while probably. So I was excited by the potential of this boat being, you know, my first big boat, and we went and visited the guy and everything really aligned. So there's very little left to that being the first boat that I get.
Want me to get the boat?
Yeah, please. My knot wasn't too good, eh?
You have to learn some knots.
Oh! Off the ticket. Go, 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 go! Please. You got it? Yeah. We got it, Dad. Still need to learn how to tie knots good. I didn't put enough room on that, so it just pulled through and undid.
Alright.
We were almost there. Over here is as good as anywhere, I guess. Well, I'll go get my wetsuit on and try it.
Let's do it.
Probably take the boat out though, because if I have to rescue me from a cove.
Yeah, I'll be it.
Woo!
Your main sheet out.
It's out completely.
I think it's going to come over your head when it catches this one.
once the wind comes. Yeah, let her go. Nice move.
Half off her. See the traveler block, bro?
Need that other fair lead. Could have done a lot worse, you know, the first time
That's
out.
good. He had one of these little things break while he was sailing, so we're taking it from this one, putting it on there. Between the two boats, he's got a good, one good sailboat. Off around the tree, under the other way. Yeah, over and in. There you go. Whichever way the wind blows. That's why I was singing that song. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Nice. Try to hold steady in the same course. Wow.
That's fine. Sloppy, but did it.
That was so much fun. For a first day going out sailing, I definitely was not expecting to actually have fun. I was expecting to learn a lot, and of course make progress sailing, but more struggle than what it actually turned out to be. I left a little cove here. The wind was pretty intermittent today. It just wasn't a steady enough wind to just take off sailing, but I would catch the wind pretty good, start going for a bit, and then lose it and then start going. But by the end there, right before I stopped, I had a nice steady gust and I had to hike over the side and was actually fully sailing, which was a lot of fun. I mean, I've still got some stuff to learn. My tacks were pretty sloppy, but at least I was doing them. I was happy not to be flipping instead of tacking slowly. So yeah, all around an amazing first day sailing. It looks like tomorrow's gonna have a much more steady wind, so hopefully we'll be able to head out on the water then and get a consistent wind that I can really practice sailing in. not perfectly, so it's too windy to even talk.
Having fun yet?
Yeah.
How exciting. You must be flipping out.
Super excited.
Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah. I was just sailing with one of the laser dinghies, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
lasers.
Well,
Just
that's what Chris
today.
just said. He goes, hey, Pete, cut the little boat out on the water.
Yeah. So we had it out today. The wind wasn't too crazy. It was good to just go around.
Yeah,
in
to
and-
try it out and practice and whatever.
I'm not gonna buff it up and get it. Black sail. Huh? Black sail. I don't think
What?
turn that.
Please, I'm not going that fast. Nothing about her, like this little beginning.
Picturing like this little thing that you crawl into and it's got like a bench you can lay down on. It's like full on stand headroom.
Plus, I think there's a bed in front.
Yeah, there's a huge area in front. I don't know if it's a bed, but
Look at that. It's so awesome having this boat delivered here, and then just got to get all the stuff put back together on it. It's just surreal to be in it. It's so awesome.
you even got a sink.
Yeah, sink. It's got electrical.
Yeah.
Of course, the beds and everything. There's
Nav
batteries.
lights, cabin lights,
Yep.
radio, autopilot.
Yeah, and then my radio's right here. I have a table outside which I can mount to the ground once this is all clear. The boom's in here too.
Dead.
And then a gimbaling cooker. Look at this.
Tons of storage.
It hooks up right here actually.
Mayday, mayday. This is the Orca. Mayday. That's just great, Quint. That's just great.
Certifiable, Quinn. Look, so that's for cooking on. You can move around. Look at though, there's actually a lot of space down here.
But can you imagine like standing up on the front there? You know, like
You can't
walking
fully
out
stand at our height, but
there. No, I mean like walking out to the front of the ship and just standing there while you're cruising. You know? Pretty crazy. Or how that.
yeah. Wow. It was one thing going and looking at it to buy, or just to see if it was worth buying. It's a completely different experience now owning it. I mean, like I said, it feels surreal, but it feels so awesome. You can instantly start picturing, you know, the trips that you can do on this, and for years this could be the boat that I have, like, not only to learn how to sail a keel boat, but to really hone my skills as a sailor and get into this whole way of living. And it's the start of a very exciting future for me. So I can't wait to look through this some more. I've got the whole family waiting outside though. They all came out to see the boat and help with the initial thing, help with getting the trailer set up in the parking lot here so I can work on it later. But you might be able to see it. There's literally so many bugs, thousands of little black gnats. On mainland here, we get a lot more than on the island. So I don't want Mom and Dad and Dan just suffering while I enjoy the inside of my boat here. So I'm gonna grab the sails, the table, and there's a bin full of like the anchor and a bunch of other just odds and ends. Bring them inside, close her up for the night, and be back out here tomorrow to get another look at it, start cleaning it up. I bought a buffer and everything, like an actual buffing machine, so I don't have to do the whole boat by hand. I want to buff and wax the outside, make it shine again, and start working on some stuff in here, get everything set up and ready for when I can really take this out on Georgian Bay and start sailing. Mainsail, which is fully, it's got all the battens in it. This is the table, which I'd probably use for charting and of course eating, if I'm going to be eating inside, and as a workspace. It's got a mount roughly right here, so it'd be sitting up like this, or like this. So that'll go here. A lot of this wood is in kind of rougher shape, you know, it's old. But nothing you can't fix really quick, so I'd probably sand that and repaint it, or just stain it, keep it all more neutral tones rather than purple. This is a ice bin on the inside here. You can see through the wall, it's got a GPS panel and then my compass. Got a nice big ball compass there. It's kind of my navigation. There we go. Windows. VHF radio, nice little shelf back there, sand that down and paint it, and then these rear benches, which I guess are also berths. You can sleep down there. Same on this side, but I've also got a sink, just pumps up fresh water with this guy here. We're familiar with these, we had them on our trailer, our overland trailer. My power, you can turn it on. There's actually a little solar panel on the roof too. That'll be something I want to upgrade and update as soon as possible. Bilge pump controls, master breaker, and another main switch. And probably to get to the sink area here, some AC plugins, some more shelves, got lighting in here, got a toilet, which I'm ashamed to not remember the name of what a toilet is in a boat, but that's a toilet. Nice closet. It actually has a decent amount of space in it. And then the V-berth, which I stuffed full of the cushions, which I'll probably gotta clean up, you know, they look a little mildewy, but none the worse for wear. The boom is sitting in here, taking up space too. And then I've got this little hatch. It's also got a fan on it there. He wasn't sure whether it worked or not. He never used it, but it's like a circulation fan of some kind. It definitely seems like it'd come in handy, keep the moisture down just by pumping air in here all the time. And then in the cockpit, under, I believe this seat here, is the battery. It controls all this, including my tiller motor, which will be on the back, which he has a whole console for, which is really awesome. It was a 9.9 horsepower Tohatsu or something. Not actually familiar with the brand. And then there's the bin full of all the rest of the stuff, my tiller, the table mount, anchor, and buoys. Should, yeah. Got all the baggage.
Okay. See ya.
Alright. Love you, Mom.
Love you. Yes, miss you. Drive safe.
And Vince.
Hi, Pete.
Bye.